Who do we think will win the NFC West, and who's the best team in the NFC West? I have ESPN's odds right now for each NFC West team to either win the division and or make the playoffs. Before I get to it, though, Bump, Dan Orlovsky thinks that if the Rams stay healthy, they're going to win.
The quarterback's playing just as good as he did last year. They just got to stay healthy. And that's the big question mark. Can those perimeter guys? But there's no one I believe in more when it comes to, like, can they get it done? Really outside the Rams and the Lions offensively.
So again, outside of the Rams and Lions offensively, I have a lot of belief in them. And to start the season, I thought the Rams would be one of the best offenses in football, like a top 5 offense.
Yep.
And then they lost Puka. The following week, they lost Cooper. And that first week, they lost 2 starting offensive linemen. Like, you saw it just fall apart. Is he wrong?
This is what the NFL does, and especially Dan Orlovsky. I mean, this is right in his wheelhouse. He will throw himself out there and make bold takes, and most of them don't stick. Most takes don't stick, honestly, in in sports media. But he has a reason to believe that. I mean, they are getting healthy. You got Puka back. You got Cooper Kupp back. Kyron Williams has been playing some good football. Matthew Stafford is playing good enough for these guys to win ball games. Yeah, that makes sense. My thing is, I got to see it for a longer time. I can't just see it for 1 or 2 games and say, that's it. You know, and then he goes, well, this defensive line, this young defensive line is getting after it. They're bottom third when it comes to getting after the quarterback. Mm-hmm. And maybe it comes to stopping the run, they're a bit better, but when it's all said and done, you want to get after the quarterback, and they're bottom third when it comes to getting after the quarterback. He could be true. And this is why you have bold takes, because if they become reality, now you seem like a genius. But at this point, no, the 49ers are still the best team in the division. I'm not going to overlook the 49ers. I understand Christian McCaffrey isn't there, but I still see Brock Purdy, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel. They still got weapons and a pretty good defense. Are the Rams in the mix? Yes. Everybody's in the mix right now. Everyone's in the mix. There's a bunch of ifs. Whenever you say if this and if that, then if this, yeah, those ifs can become true. I said you can win a Super Bowl with Geno Smith a few weeks ago if this, that, and that, and that happens. Yeah, so it could be true, but I'm not ready to sit here and say the Rams are it. After this week, and I'll break them down a bit more, and I see a few more games, I might be more comfortable. But at this time, it's still the Niners' division to lose.
With no context into any of these teams, no additional context, let's just look at wins, losses. Top 3 teams, Cardinals, 49ers, Seahawks, in order at 4-4. Rams are 1 game behind at 3-4. That is the messiness, the jumbled group that is atop the NFC West standings. ESPN does their own playoff projections, and they use their NFL Football Power Index, which looks at a lot of different factors. Their predictions for the outcome of this division are not quite as close. In fact, for the odds to get to the playoffs, the best odds are with the San Francisco 49ers, 44% odds to make the playoffs. Next best are the Arizona Cardinals at 38.2%. The Rams at 19.5. The Seahawks have the worst odds at 17.7. The Seahawks also have the lowest odds of these teams to win the division. So they don't see it, their Football Power Index and their stats, and looking at strength of schedule and looking at some other stats around what they've seen. They don't see it as like truly a 4-horse race. They see it as, this is San Francisco's division, and Arizona could be a tricky team. And then the Rams will probably finish above the Seahawks, but neither of those teams are making the playoffs. That's how ESPN's analytics sees the division right now.
You know what analytics are? Analytics are a prediction of what is most likely going to happen, what could happen based off of what we've seen up to this point, and you're projecting what you're going to see in the future. What analytics does not take into account are human performances, players getting hot, a coordinator figuring something out. Those percentages might be right, but they're not 100%. Now, I'm looking at the strength of schedule. The Cardinals have the second easiest strength of schedule left in the NFL. You got the hard games they have, at least according to Tankathon. You have the Minnesota Vikings, the Bears, the Niners, the Seahawks twice. The easy part, the Panthers, New England, Jets, and then they have the Rams on there. Now that 3-game stretch.
Panthers, New England, and the Jets. Yeah. They're playing a bunch of 1- and 2-win teams.
All right, so they're 31st, so the second easiest, right? And then you got the Rams at 26th. So they got the Bills, Philly, Niners, Hawks twice, Arizona. On the easy side, they have the Pats, the Saints, the Jets, and the Dolphins. They're set up. I think that the Bills is going to be a tough game. That's going to tell you a lot. The Cardinals offense, the Philadelphia Eagles offense right now has been hot. That's going to be a test. And then, the Niners are going to be a test. With the Seahawks, we'll see who shows up. We just don't know. Inconsistent. And then same thing with the Cardinals. No, I think it's more up for grab than analytics are going to tell you, because analytics do not account for performances. Analytics are not going to account for maybe this right side of this offensive line for the Seahawks starts to figure it out, and Huff gets them going, and Grubb figures some things out. Analytics doesn't account for maybe the San Francisco 49ers are a bit overrated and Brock Purdy has himself another 3-interception game. It's all up in the air. I think this is the craziest division in football right now. It's the most unpredictable division in football. But there's no way I'm going to look at what the Niners have done this year in their wins and the previous years and say, yeah, I'm just going to give it to the Rams because we've seen them play 1 or 2 good games and now it's a wrap. You beat the Raiders. Quality win, you did beat the Vikings, but you beat the Raiders. Yeah, it's not something that impresses me the way the analytics are impressed.
As Shania would say, that don't impress me much. No, I'm just kidding. I think that the Rams, again, entering the season, I thought it would be 49ers, Rams, and then the Seahawks and Seahawks, Cardinals in that order is what I thought that this division would lean to. I thought that the Cardinals were going to be inexperienced, figuring stuff out. The Rams were going to be young defensively and inexperienced, but would have a stellar offense. And then the 49ers would just be this complete team looking to get back to a Super Bowl. DVOA supports that. San Francisco, number 6 overall in total DVOA. Detroit, Baltimore, Minnesota, Buffalo, Kansas City still leading the way there. Kansas City's such a weird team this year.
Let me ask you this real quick.
Yes.
You think analytics had the Browns beating the Ravens last week?
No, but I mean that's obviously not always right.
Of course not. No, I'm just saying that is just how volatile this whole situation is. I'm not, and analytics they're right sometimes. They're completely right.
Yeah.
But they're wrong as well. And I think because it's so tight, it's so hard for me just to lean on this analytics and say, yeah, they'll be good to go. Right.
But to your point, if I was leaning on analytics, I would still look at the 49ers and go, I mean, if they can get Christian McCaffrey back, his practice window is supposed to open up on Monday.
Right.
Kyle Shanahan said they're hoping to open up Christian McCaffrey's window on Monday. I don't hope that the 49ers win the division. I hope it's the Seahawks. Makes my job easier. But I think that the Rams are benefiting from, to your point, having proven people wrong in the past. They were supposed to be a great offense entering the season, and they had a statement win against the Vikings.
Don't get me wrong, they got a chance. They got a chance.
Everyone has a chance.
I ain't sleeping.
I was a little surprised to see the gaps, the overall gaps between like the Cardinals having 40% odds to make the playoffs and the Seahawks around 17%. Like I was surprised to see that difference that pronounced in a division that's been so tight because of injuries. So.